With the Golden Corral folks making it possible this year. There's more to discuss with Robin Miller than IndyCar racing, but that is his favorite topic, and so I guess it's a good starting point as we welcome the voice of reason and sanity back to the start of a new season. Good to see you, Robin. Thanks.
Mr. Despain, you have spent 2 weeks with Ken Squire, Waltrip, McReynolds, Hammond. I am the voice of reason. Yes, you are right.
Let's start with an update on the biggest name in the series, celebrity being a powerful force in America. I'm talking about Danica Patrick, of course. And I'm not talking about the latest Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue and the question of whether SI photoshopped the tattoo off Danica's back. I'm interested in this morning's AP headline, quote, Could where is it here? Can't find it. Could U.S. Formula One team in 2010 feature Danica Patrick? Do you think Ken Anderson, one of the principals in that team, and among other things, a veteran IndyCar guy, is serious about that?
I don't necessarily think they've gotten far enough to even think about a driver, but I would think they want somebody, 19, 20-ish, Jonathan Somerton, somebody like that. But, Kenny Anderson's got a long history, Dave. I mean, he was really the genesis for the Penske shocks back in the late 80s when he worked with Roger Penske. He was a shock expert, and he parlayed that. He went to Ligier. He was kind of the engineer over there in Formula One for a year. Came back here, worked for A.J. Foyt, had a good year with Robbie Gordon. Then he went to Bentonhausen. Then he went to World Sports Cars. Then he went to NASCAR. Then he drew up an IRL car that never made the track with Michael Cranifus. So he's certainly got a lot of respect as far as an engineer and his knowledge of race cars. Does that make him ready to own a Formula One team? I don't know. Peter Windsor called me the other night and said, I'm telling you, this thing's going to happen, and people are going to be shocked. It's good.
We're going to have a lot more on this on Speed. The official announcement is supposed to be on the network here in about 10 days. They say they got a $64,000 or $64 million working budget. I'm curious to find out if they have a sponsor. Back to IndyCars, rivaling Ms. Patrick in terms of celebrity, but also boasting 14 wins, including a couple of Indy 500s, Helio Castroneves. A question mark because of the tax evasion charges. What are the chances he'll race for Penske in 2009?
Based on all the guys I talked to that are professional lawyers, I'd say slim and none. They said it's gone this far. They've got the IRS. They've got the federal government after him. Maybe he had a chance to plea bargain a year ago and didn't. I'm not sure that's true or false. I don't think anybody in the racing community, Dave, thinks that Castroneves is a bad guy or a criminal. I don't think anybody thinks he masterminded anything. And he's going to have a jury trial, so maybe he'll skate. Maybe he won't have to go to jail or be deported or all the things that you hear from these guys. But his sister and him were in court a few days ago, and they asked for 3 of the charges to be dropped because of statute of limitations. That didn't happen. So, I mean, March 2nd's D-Day for Helio.
Got about a minute on this topic. The IndyCar series not flush with sponsorship anyway. Now the economic downturn, and Milka Duno gets promoted. How much damage has the downturn done?
Well, it's awful. I mean, here we are coming up on the first-year anniversary of unification. What is there to celebrate? Justin Wilson doesn't have a ride. Ryan Hunter-Reay doesn't have a ride. Paul Tracy doesn't have a ride. Oriol Servia doesn't have a ride. Alex Tagliani doesn't have a ride. Milk and Donuts has one of the best teams in racing because she's going to bring a lot of money there. That's good for Graham Rahal. Robert Dornbos is a good race driver. But it's a huge problem. And there's a lot of teams right now that are really in limbo because they don't have any money, and they've had their hand out for Tony George. Tony George cut one of his teams loose. He's only going to have one team. So what does it say about a series when the guy that started it's only going to run one car? That's not good.
How much money does Milka bring to Newman, Haas, Lanigan, you reckon?
I think it's double figures, old cart money. I think like between 12 and 14 million.
Yahoo.